Happy birthday. For friends.
Friends. Hello and welcome. Allie, thank you for the tier 1 sub. My god, it's been a year. Holy butts. That's wild to me. I mean, I know we just had the stream anniversary like last week, but it's still just wild. Sarah, thank you for the bits as well. I super duper appreciate it. Whole dang year. Whole dang year. Oh gosh dang year. What a wild time. Just a second to change some settings real fast. There we go. Just gonna turn myself down just a little bit because it looked like I was way too dang loud. But, hey, welcome. How's it going? How's everyone doing? Glad you landed on a game to play, Tennyson. Sometimes you just gotta roll a dice. Just let a single die decide your fate.
Awesome.
Sarah, thank you for more bits. Let me also turn that down just a smidge. It seems like the music is extremely loud, or at least it was in comparison to me. Dark Souls. We're gonna start Dark Souls tonight. Can't do the train by yourself. It's okay. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the effort. But hold on to your money for a little bit, because we got our subathon at the end of the month on Halloween. On Halloween itself, we're gonna be doing a subathon, and I am getting the last of the things that I need for it together, and I'm very excited for it. If for no other reason than it's my favorite holiday, and it's just gonna be exciting and awesome to share it with everyone. The subathon is coming. It's gonna be great. And I'm super stoked. Allie! The only thing that I really need to decide is, like, the goals themselves. Like, the number for the goals. I don't want to be too ridiculous, but I know that you guys are gonna, like, surpass what I would initially guess. So, my god, you guys! It's not a competition. Remember. But no, all the support and stuff is very, very appreciated. But yeah, tonight, we're gonna start Dark Souls. Sarah's top tier, but it's okay. I love all of y'all, regardless of whether you can yeet money at me or not. I'm just happy to have people here. But yeah, tonight, Dark Souls. I have an item and a enemy randomizer installed into the game, so that's gonna be interesting. I haven't played Dark Souls in a year or two. It's been a couple years since I've done a playthrough of Dark Souls, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm super stoked about it. It'll be very, very interesting. And we're gonna make Waluigi again. I considered having a death counter up, because we did that for Bloodborne. I don't know. I was gonna run it by you guys to see if you wanted me to keep track of how many deaths I've accrued. We can do that. That's a thing that can happen. Let me turn the music off and let's just get on over here, because I realize it's gonna take us a little bit to make our boy. Oh, I mean, absolutely. 100%. Sorry. Well, oh no. This might be a problem. Sorry. It's not a great start. Doesn't that helmet, like, damage me constantly? Also, Bohoi! How's it going, friend? We are 100% ready to die over and over again. I would like to Oh. Okay, yeah, let me enter my character name, please. If it means we can pay Luigi, then you need to do a counter. Alright, we can do that. It'll take me a second to set it up, because I did delete the one that we had, that we had up when we did Bloodborne, because it's been a minute, but we'll make it happen, it's fine. Oh no. Oh good, okay. So I'm very excited about it. What is that hat? There are too many with the mimic hat. and I don't like it? Oh, fuck. What do we start as? That one's pretty fun. Oh my goodness. Okay, so... Oh, doing it bad. Yeah, so a randomizer, what a randomizer does essentially is, depending on what kind of randomizer you have, it changes the items in the game, items or enemies or starting equipment. The randomizers that I have are for enemies and items, so all of my starting items are going to be different, than what base starting items are. Everything that we'll find in chests and what enemies will drop will also be different from base game. I mean, it's all the items that are already in the game, but it's just not what they'll usually drop or give you. And same thing with the with the enemy randomizer. Every enemy that usually spawns into the game will be a different enemy than what should potentially be there. Both of the randomizers I have are very, very nice in that they stop us from soft locking ourselves from being able to beat the game. So certain key items will not spawn where you can't get them. So that's great. And I think I have it set up that the first boss, the Asylum Demon, I think he will still be the same, just so that, you know, we don't get, like, Gwyn as our first boss. But everything outside of that will be the same. It also lets me, like, choose the, like, what the likelihood of a boss spawning outside of a boss area is. So a regular enemy could potentially be a boss. I have that set very low, though. Same with bosses spawning in as regular enemies. It's a possibility, but it's a very low chance of it. Basically, yeah, like I said, randomizers just change base game so that it's a little different than what you know. It's gonna be very interesting. Does anyone have preferences for what we're seeing here for our starters? I mean, obviously we gotta go as tennis boy as possible. Hunter looks kind of promising. Oh, the bad chest hat, though. Again, doesn't that, like, damage me, though? I mean, I can always take it off. We... Okay, but we got a couple of chest heads. And monster heads. So we've got Hunter. We've got... Warrior. Or... we've got Sorcerer with this monstrosity. You like the pickaxe, dude? Also, Jody, hi. I know Travis will always say deprived, but even he gets, like, he gets some items. But no, we gotta go as, pickaxe is pretty great. I kind of like Hammer Boy, though. Bunno, hi. Okay, so here's the thing, though. Like, I love these hats, but we gotta be able to see our boy, right? I'm overriding it. We're going Hunter. Because we get a hammer. And that's kind of tennis rackety, right? Sarah, thank you for the bubble. I'm gonna go with the Old Witch's Ring. I don't know if that's actually going to stay as the Old Witch's Ring, but we'll see. Oh god, I should probably pull up a picture of Waluigi so we have, our point of reference, right? Why are the faces all so bad? Customize, please. Alright. I also feel like the game is extremely quiet. But that might just be me. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta get us our Waluigi pictures. Oh god, where are they? I know they're here. I know they exist. But yeah, how's everyone doing tonight? How are things? I should have gotten this done earlier, but you know, I didn't. Oopsies. Whoopsies. God damn it. Oh no, why are you so large? Waluigi, no! Also, I forgot to update all the stuff. Damn it, I knew I was forgetting something. Why is he so big? Waluigi! You're doing it bad, buddy. Okay, alright, there. Now we got him. Are one of my mods available to update Moobot with the game link and the content warnings while I'm putzing around over here? I'll set up the death counter in a hot second. If not, I can get to Moobot. Hold on. Oop. I'm already there. I'm already dang there. Where is... There it is. I didn't realize that the remastered version, which is what I am currently playing, is $40 on Steam. I think I picked it up for like 20. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, hold on a second. I had to like change everything for the reading stream the other day. Okay. It was so big. Game link is up and running. And if I could actually highlight everything properly. Content warning for the game is updated. Everything is ready to go. Good. I've done it. Everybody clipping. Thanks. Thanks. We want... Sure makes everything a little more saggy. I need them sharp features. Hi, Devo. We've already got the boy starting to scream at us. Hi. Nah, we need those strong features. Oh no. It's actually pretty good. So making Waluigi's always an event. Always. Hi, Devo. This child will not stop screaming. Ever. Would you say that Waluigi has a fairly pronounced forehead? Wish there was a... Why do you look like this? What? No, the bridge of his nose is like pretty far up there. sink that shit in. I mean, yeah, his hat's covering his forehead. It's true, it's true. I know I've seen him without a hat on before, though. At one point, there was no hat. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I did it bad? Oh, no! Hold on. I realize that, like, we are all covering it up. So let me... We're just gonna change everything around. Everything's gonna get moved around. It's fine. Also, I don't know why everything is different. And I don't like it. This is not where I want to be. Hey. Yeah, Hatless Waluigi's not great. I never said he was great. Also, my mouse is so sensitive and I don't know why. Hey, mouse? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Dougie!
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Thank you for the 3 months. Still not a pronounced forehead? Okay. Alright, good to know. Also, thank you for getting those shoutouts out there, Allie. You don't follow our friends yet. You should, because they're all lovely human beings. And they're all very, very good. And funny. And sweet. And kind. Why was that, like, bending his eyeballs in? I didn't like that. No. Why? Why does he have a divot in his forehead? I can't go with it. We're making ourselves a Waluigi. I'm not just making any monster. I'm making a Waluigi. No, that's gotta be in there. Is that what's causing the terrible forehead divot? Oh, that's bad. Why is the center of his face collapsing? That's a little better. It's still not great. Okay, maybe eventually when I get to the eyebrows, we'll fix it. Also, his eyes are extremely close. God, this is not... It always starts out so bad. Always. So we gotta get that eyebrow ridge in there. No, inner's gotta be super low. Outer's gotta be really high. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh no. Oh, he's blinking with his third eyelids. Good. Good. I'm so happy for our boy. He is in pain. Absolutely 100% is in pain. We gotta... Okay, no. Pupil... Oh... Goodness. Oh, no. Oh, our boy! This is our beautiful boy. We love him. He's very good. hate what I've done. I don't like what I'm creating here. Why? Why? It's also at the point where I can't tell what any of these are affecting. Gotta get that real big real one. Oh, I hate it when he smiles. I don't know if I can get him to get more teeth. How do we open his mouth? I gotta bring that mouth in to, like, make the nose stand out more. Oh no! Those are bad lips! Hold on, can we... I'm missing like a whole section of stuff. Okay, hold on. I always forget that there's like way more options. Oh. It's not great. I need that chin to mouth distance very long. Oh god. We gotta make him like the same color as his skin. Ugh. Oh no. Only 3 teeth. More teeth. More teeth! Oh god, okay, well we gotta go back. We gotta go back to change some of the other settings. Oh boy. Eyelid color. Gotta go dark. Gotta really let those eyeballs stand out. It's not changing anything because the skin around his eyes is so sunken in. Oh. Oh. Get dense eyebrows. Low position for the eyebrows. Thick eyebrow. Oh. Lower brow. Lower brow. Oh. Oh. Oh no. I hate it. I hate it. Oh, he's not a good boy. Good God. Okay, hold on. His nostrils are pretty wide. Got some wide nostrils. Not quite that wide. That's not right. But they're fairly tucked in there. Oh. Oh. Hesitantly give him 2 kisses. Only the 2. No more. No less. Only the 2. Okay, can we make his nostrils a little smaller, but like keep him big. Nothing would help. Let's be real. No, the width just kind of fucked it up. So let's keep them kind of narrow. Oh my god. Let's go ahead and let's get that iconic chin in there. We are still making Waluigi, do not worry. Or maybe do. Hi! Hi, Devo. Buddy, hey. Sweetie boy. Can we... It starts out pretty wide and then gets real narrow. But to get it the length I want it, I have to make it really wide, and that doesn't work. Hold on. How was the secret hunting? How did it go? Why? Why are you like this? Oh no. I need you to not have a neck pouch, preferably. Preferably no neck pouch.
Towards his cosmetic surgery.
I will not consider the neck pouch. Also, thank you for the bits. Just no neck pouch. Mustache. Dense. We need that thick. Oh no. I do remember struggling to make a good Waluigi in Dark Souls 1. This might be as good as it gets.
Where is he going to keep these bits without a neck pouch?
He's gonna have to hold them in his little arms. Just hug all the biddies and carry them around and make do without a neck pouch. You guys!
That is a good question.
Please. Please no. It's a real struggle. Like, it's not... Of all the Dark Souls, the first one, not great. You can't make a good Waluigi. There might be a tattoo for the nose. You're right. Hold on. Good call, good call. Don't randomize this.
How many more bits do we have to give until you make a neck pouch?
Do you want me to give Waluigi a neck pouch? Is that what has to happen? I don't know that there are tattoos in this one. Do we give him the neck pouch? Do you want that terrible, awful, disgusting neck pouch? How did I get the neck pouch, though? That's the question.
I don't know, we can keep trying, though.
Fair point, fair point. Oh, that's a bad chin. That does look a little more like his chin, though. Because his lips kind of blend into his chin. Oh, boy. No. That's gotta stay. How?
You gotta make him ginger.
It's true. You're right. Oh. Hold on. How do we get that chin pouch back? Or the neck pouch? Neck pouch, where did you go? I think neck pouch is just gone. Oh. Oh. Hold on, sorry, my nose is running. I need to go. I need to leave. I need to leave. Ugh. Is that? That's pretty dang close, right? That's too red. I think that's as close to ginger as I can make him. Yikes. Oh! I found the colors. I found the colors.
All I have less than 3.
Nandera, you don't got... I appreciate it. You don't gotta give me your biddies, though. I mean, you have. You've now done it. Thank you. Everyone's gotta get in on that hype train, I guess. Oh, he's not... Sorry, just... Oh. We've made a boy. We need not white cheeks, but pale cheeks. I'm scared to like mess with any of the other sliders, though. I think this is as good as our Waluigi can get. We have made a boy. Say hello to our boy. Here comes the boy. Hello, boy. Welcome. Here he comes. There he is. Here comes the boy. I regret everything. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that he was still there. Are we... I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I think this is the Waluigi that we will have to live with. Trying to see if I can like pull up the picture from the last Dark Souls Waluigi I made. I saw him a second ago. I don't know if he's in here anymore. That's the wrong Dark Souls. That's for sure. It's a very good boy, though. I think this was, Dark Souls 3? Lights! Oh, you're not gonna be able to see him. Oh, well. No, I don't think I have a Dark Souls 1. That's Bloodborne. That's Dark Souls 2. I'll post all my boys in the Discord at some point. I think this is as good as our... I can't say good, because it's not, but I think this is the Waluigi. He's not great. Mario is definitely more accurate. Let's name him... Let's say he's Waluigi-esque. Oh my god, how do you spell? It's not quite Waluigi. Alright. I think that's our boy. I think that's our boy. Fucking hell. I don't want to hit accept. I don't want it. Hold on. Yeah. I mean, we had options for other hats. But it did give us look at that stupid smile. No, we're gonna go with Hunter. I am gonna take the hat off, though, because I don't trust it. But before we do that, I'm going to very quickly... Oh, that's wrong! Incorrect! I don't know what is up with my freaking mouse, but it's just so extra sensitive right now. Oh, lordy. Okay, put me there. You guys can be a little bigger again. Ugh. Oh, Waluigi. Oh, our boy. Well, we'll put a Waluigi there, right? Alright. And then... Sorry. And then we'll do... I'll do a second Waluigi. Right over here. And then... Check this out. Hold on. I gotta group this shit up. Ugh, and not lose my controller. Again, I should have done this beforehand, but... Eh. We got a Waluigi counter. It was asked for, so... Mostly because that means we get to have Bayoigi again. And we all love Bayoigi. So at 100 deaths, we will, we'll add a Bayoigi. That's too large, but that's okay. Boop. Bonus curses will be unlocked upon, It's very good. Alright. Let's go. Okay to start the game with this character? Absolutely not, but it's fine.
In the age of ancients, the
Oh
world
my god.
was unformed, shrouded by fog.
We'll sit through it. We might as well.
Of grey crags.
Is that still very quiet?
And everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold. Life and death. And of course, light and dark. Then, from the dark, they came and found the souls of lords within the flame.
You get a counter.
Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons.
Rawr. Sorry.
Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone
Those
spears.
poor dragons.
The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more.
Oh, see.
Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark sign.
Let's go! Let's go! Oh god, I forgot we're gonna look like an absolute...
Yes, indeed.
Oh, now you're very
The
loud.
dark sign brands the undead.
We're gonna look like a hot mess.
And in this land,
Oh no, what's happening there?
the undead are corralled and
The
led to the
randomizer
north,
works! That's...
where they are locked away
Oh
to
no!
await the end of the world.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is your fate.
Everything is already so ridiculous! Oh no! Oh. Oh. Oh my god, I'm gonna die! Oof! Oof! Okay, yeah, no, that hat is killing me. Take off? Oh god, where is it? Unequipped. There it is. Okay. Oof. Oh! What is? What? Oh I don't know. I don't know what half my equipment is right now. We got the moonlight robes, got black iron gauntlets, Ornstein's leggings. We got the old witch's ring. Still have just a shitty hilt. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, we're starting out with gear that is not normally what you start with. It's fine. There's a moss man in there. What is the water? The water those? Oh. I am ill-equipped for this entire situation. Ah! You shouldn't be here. This isn't where you belong. Spooky bottom jeans and jacket with the fringe, I don't want to be here. Why is T? That man is T-posing. You good, buddy? I don't think he's good. Devo, now's not the time, honey. So, this is gonna be very interesting. Devo! Honey! All done. I'm scared. Genuinely horrified. Oh boy. Are you still... Why are there just tails everywhere? Are you still the asylum demon? He didn't even show up? Whoever it is above me. It's how I get people's attention. I just start screaming. No, everything's already a whole mess. It's fine. They're just gargoyle tails everywhere, and I look ridiculous. And it's fine. Ouch! No! Everything sucks! I need a weapon! I need a sword? Hey! Hey, game! I also need, like, my Estus flasks, okay? If you wouldn't mind. Fucking hell! Okay, Wall is in my way. There's our first dang death! There's that first death. I'm gonna bet it's gonna take me like 20 just to get out of here. So we got a bell gargoyle as our first boss. I thought I had set it to an easier difficulty, but hey, that's fine. That's not what I wanted to do. I could just run past. We could. Well, I can't because he's in the way. This boy is in the way. Okay, alright. This is better. This is looking better. Oh my god, I'm so slow. I'm fat rolling already. Oh, this is gonna be a fucking disaster. Alright. Are we ready? Are we ready? The answer is no, we're not. We're not ready. We will never be ready. I can see him! He can see me! How the fuck am I supposed to beat this boy? This is bad. We've done it so bad. Come here, guys. Thanks.
Oh, you.
Yeah, I know, guy. Just
Regrettably.
cool. Give me your stuff. Thanks.
No,
Thanks.
I would hate.
And we're all done here. Give me your shit. Oh! No! I feel like this is a little more intense than just the usual Dark Souls. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Maybe that's just me, though. No, I thought I had set it so that the first boss would just be the proper boss. So that we wouldn't get into the situation where we just live here now for forever, but, you know, it's fine. Now's the time for me to get good, so we're gonna. Come on. My guy, I'm very slow. Don't like those sounds. I'm so scared he's gonna hit me through the walls. Just got more moss boys. Hi. You know what? It's fine. They're chumps. Oh no! There's a lot happening over here. Are you? Yeah! He's just dancing. It's fine. Okay. They're not nearly as scary as I was expecting them to be. So that's cool. Ooh, her bad face. Just someone's tail. Trying to see if I can, like, attack it? It did some damage, but I can't hurt it now. That is the third just random tail that we have come across. It's fine. I mean, it's definitely a bell gargoyle tail. I'm unsure if it's supposed to be an enemy, considering that the boss is a bell gargoyle. Oh god, I'm scared. Nope, stay there, you bitch! You dumb motherfucker. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. I hit him, again, hit him harder than I was expecting to. Yeah, this is normal and fine. Fine and normal. Oh boy. It'll be great. We got this. That's a second death though. I need to remember to keep that updated. Also, should probably move so they're just a smidge smaller. You know, just a smidge smaller. Don't do that. Bro. My guy. My guy. My guy! I hate everything. Not hugs. Not the hugs. I don't want the hugs. Do not touch me. This is a whole dang disaster. Yikes. Don't think she would appreciate it though. Okay, like, are you... It's in my way, is the thing? Come here, rat. Hey, rat! I have no means of dodging right now. And that's extremely unfortunate. Because we're just over here fat rolling. Yeah, that does nothing. Oh boy. It does. It sits down when I bop it, but it doesn't show the amount of damage that I do. Nor does it go away or flop around. Well, sir. Yikes. Please. 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 I would like to drink my Estus, sir!
I would like to see the baby.
Hi, Emmy. Thank you for the 12 months. Also, a tier 2 sub. My god. If you would like to see the baby, here is the baby. He's not doing too hot right now. Oops. keep hitting the wrong one. He's not doing great right now. Everything is bad. As you can tell, we got a boy trying to get to us. Where does it list, like, how much I'm carrying? Okay. No, it's because I'm ill-equipped for this weapon. That's why we're fat rolling. I'm not gonna put the correct hat on, because the correct hat hurts me. And we all know this. But yeah, hi, welcome. For anyone new, we're doing a Dark Souls randomizer, and everything is bad. It's all bad. There's nothing good. Thanks, my poncho has wings on the back. It's very oops all bad. I could go in. I could technically go in and putz around with the randomizer a little bit and make it so that, you know, I could maybe get through this section a little more easily, but why would I do that? Why would I do that when I could suffer? Hi, New. I'm Dad. It's very good. Very good. Like, check this out. Look at these slick digs. Ooh. 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 Are those? Hello? Hold on a second. Hi? I'm gonna do that stupid white girl thing and go see what's going on. Was that you? Why? Where's your dumb toy? Where's your dumb toy, Devo? Ah! Come here. I don't know what to say, bud. It's fine. It was Devo knocking shit over, is what it was. And I figured it was that. But I had to make sure that he was okay. Hi, sweet boy. He's just crying because I have put his toy away. And I don't know where I've put it. Hi, sweet boy. Do you want to come here? Come say hi to everyone. Come here. Big chunky child. He's a dang terror, it's true. Are you a big dang terror? Big sweet dang terror? He did look, just for a moment. I'm gonna set you down, okay? You're wiggling like you want to be set down. So I think we're in agreement that you need to be set down. Also, have I only died the twice, or have we died 3 times? 3, thank you. Oh my god, Devo. Devo. Hey, I found your dang toy! Hey! I found your dang toy! You want the bad, loud, chirpy toy that I bought? He, jumped up onto the bed, and I threw the toy at him and hit him smack dab in the face. It's very good. We've died to the gargoyle twice. And died to something else once, I think. This is our 3rd try on the big bad gargoyle. Please, I need you to, like, actually attack him. The fat rolls are gonna be the death of me. Please! Please! Okay. Yeah, no, quite literally, will be. I am going to die. This is Extremely unfortunate. My god. This doesn't make it any better. That barely makes it any better. Okay, well... I have made it this way. This is what randomizers do, Emmy. Oh, please. Waluigi. My guy. Okay, it's fine. It's true. It's true. And I don't have the strength to do this. My only other option is the bad broken sword, which does actually do 2 damage. So technically, if we really felt like it, we could... Oh, please. Oh, please. Please, sir. We could just whittle away at this guy. That said it did like 250 some damage? Hey! I don't think I've ever actually used a bow before. Oh, this is weird. Oh, this is weird. It's a very bad gun. Fucking hell. Please. Game. I can't see where I'm aiming. It's extremely unfortunate. Oh. No, I'm not gonna be able to do enough damage. Can I, like... This feels a little cheap, if you ask me. I'll roll with it, though. I'm definitely not gonna... I've got 5 arrows left. Which is unfortunate. Oh, 2 more. And that's it. Okay, that's all we got. He's under half health. I mean, for sure, but also, like... How am I supposed to make this work? Hey, bud! It's true. I want him... I'm scared! I'm scared! Of course I can lock on to him here. Fuck. Please, please, please! I'm so slow. I'm so slow. I'm so slow. I fucking love these games, and I've beaten them a number of times. I just... Hold on. I'm curious. He can hurt me through the door, which means I can hurt him through the door? Oh, that person scared me. Ouch! Can he not? I want to boop him on the snoot! Let me snoot boop! No, so the issue isn't that I'm like over encumbered, it's that I can't handle the weapon properly, so that's what's keeping me from moving fast. I'm gonna beat him through this door. This is how we're gonna do this first boss. Assuming I can actually get back up there. Bruh. I am holding it with two hands. But even then, I'm still, because I have to hold it with two hands, I can't do anything. Excuse you? Excuse you, when did you get fire? Okay, let's... I mean, I could try to beat him with my hands, but my fists are not strong. That's the wrong button. I'm still very slow. Okay. You know what? No, let's try to get naked. Let's just see what happens when I get naked. Oops. Yeah, no, punches suck. It's true. Oh god, I didn't want to see that! Okay, we do roll around. I hate it though. I hate it though. I do genuinely hate this. I'm so gross! Why am I so gross? Come here, motherfucker! No! You've gone the wrong way! I definitely rolled, but, you know, that's fine. Okay, but can you, like, eat shit and die? This is much better. Maybe we'll just have to be naked forever. Maybe we just do a naked run. Maybe we just don't actually wear any clothes this run and we just look at this really bad Waluigi jerky man. It's true. We hit him more than he hit us. It's amazing what you can do when you can actually, like, roll. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Save me, Mama Bird. Save me. Caca! Caca! Caca!
In the ancient legends, it is stated
Not turkey jerky.
that one day an undead shall be chosen.
Mama Bird. Save me from my prison.
To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage.
I would say just drop me, but you know, I will
To the
respawn
land
somewhere.
of the ancient lords.
Put me out of my misery.
Lordran.
Okay. What other bad things will we come across? It's only taken us 40 minutes to get out of the undead asylum. Now to go to the undead burg. See what bad things we'll run across there. Oh, I could see my crotch. Oh, Lord. Hi, buddy.
Well,
We don't need to. I know. I do know. I do know about the two bells. Oh, let's get that strength modifier up a little bit. And no! Excuse you! No! No! Please. I don't know where he came from. He just sees us from very, very far away. Oh my god! What? No! Sir! I will add a death real fast, but it's weird not seeing them in a void. But also he's kind of a chump. Alright, he didn't like that. He did not like me calling him a chump. Fair enough. I did. I set it to extremely low though. But it's fine. It's fine. If I can get my clothes on. That would be cool. No, we're kind of fat rolling now. Yay! He looks so odd, not in an abyss. Yeah. Can we... What other bad thing is up there? That's also a very big boy. Well, there's, yeah, I mean, there's one of the Four Kings right there, and then there's that big guy. He's just rotating. Alright, well, this might be a bit of a problem. Quite probably. I have this ring. Why have you given me another one? This is a whole fucking disaster, though. Like, this is a mess. What bad things do we have over here? What? No! No! Okay, so that's 7? 7 deaths? The T-pose was fine. I can handle the T-pose. It was the stupid little cursed frogs over there that I didn't like. Okay. Trying to think. I'm trying to think of the best way to approach this. And there are no good ways.
I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of, if not...
Hi, Petrus. Do you have anything? You don't got nothing for me,
Hello,
do you?
but I hear no.
Absolutely not. I think he will force his way in there. No, I'm aware. I think he will still make his way in there. Blue Eye Orb, Dark Moon, Blood Covenant. Oh my god. What do we... Hey, Petrus. Hey, friend. If I bring the king over here, and I get him to maybe do an attack on you... Oh, fuck. Never mind. I don't have to bring him anywhere. Are you stuck? Okay, maybe he won't be able to fit up top. Okay, well, there's a bad rat. And there's that bad boy. There's all these bad boys. Fucking hell. Okay, look, you I can deal with. Maybe if I'd fucking swing my hammer. He's trying real hard to get in here. Okay. Alright. Oopsies. Ops! I gotta stop. Gotta stop. However, that great axe is something that I can use right now, right? No, it's not. Never mind. I was thinking of something else. I will hydrate in a minute! I fucking missed! Jesus Christ! Thank you for the hydrate, Travis. So how's everyone's night going? How are you doing? I was thinking that that was a different weapon than it actually was. It's gonna be one of those runs. That's fine. It's fine, honestly. It's a little unfortunate that we got one of the boys here at the Firelink Shrine. It's kind of unfortunate that right at the start of the game, it's just been bad. It's just been bad. It's just been bad boys all over the place. We're just gonna head on down here. We're actually gonna head on over here. I'm gonna see if that guy's gonna show up. Oh, yeah, you are. Maybe? You gonna come in? Or are you gonna back up? It's fine. It's fine. Ooh, who are you kidnapping? From a death cult? Cyril, hi! Oh, fuck. Hi, friends! Crimson Jolteon, thank you for the follow! I would pause and stop, but nowhere is safe. Hi, friends! How's it going? How is potion crafting? Furious Fizzgig, thank you for the follow as well! Oh my god. No! Stop, sir! Please! Please, dog, we don't fit here! This is fine. It's not fine. We're gonna end up dying at the Firelink Shrine. Thank you, Cyril! for the sub. Hold on. I'm gonna go hide in a corner real fast. Oof. Alright. Once I get up there, it's fine. I got distracted by everything, and then I fell down a hole, and then there was a mage boy, and it wasn't great. But we'll hop on over here right quick. We can see the terrible boy. You can see the terrible boy. He's bad. It's not great. Our Bloodborne boy was definitely great. But hi friends, welcome. I think a lot of you know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Kayshurrr. I'm an LGBTQ+ streamer who focuses on horror and mystery games, with some other random shit thrown in every once in a while. We are doing some Dark Souls tonight. However, I am using a randomizer that randomizes both enemies and item drops, and it's bad. It's very bad. Tin Sarah, thank you for the gift sub. But yeah, we got a big boss hanging out here at the starting area, and it's not great. It's not great. But as is our tradition when we're playing any sort of Soulsborne game, we try to make Waluigi, and it did not go well. It did not. It didn't go great. Is he wearing someone else's skin? Because we're currently hollowed. No, please! Alright, yeah. So we got one of the end game bosses here already. It's not fantastic. He looks like a rotten tomato because he's just feeling a little under the weather. Everything's bad here. All of the enemies are just trying to ruin his day. Like that. Just like that. And it's working. Look at Wendy go. No. Game. Game just crashed. Game just said no. Game didn't like all of us making fun of Wendigo, Turkey Jerky, Waluigi over here. I shouldn't have lost it. I don't think I've lost my progress. Yeah, I know, the last time I quit, I didn't quit the game, though. Here's the thing, game. I didn't quit. You just said no more. See, we're fine. Well, I say fine. He is coming! Oh, Lord! Well, that wasn't very nice. That wasn't very nice. I wonder if it's just getting mad at me because I'm constantly tabbing out. Yeah, no, Dark Souls saves constantly. It's fine. It gets mad at you when you don't exit out properly. But it's fine. I might just have to, like, keep track of deaths on the side. Look, I can run past all of them just fine now. I'm not even concerned. What horrible things. I don't know what you're talking about. This is all fine and normal. Bad dog, bad dog. Okay, what other bad things are over here? Oh no! Not you! Not you! Please, you're so much faster than I am! Nothing. Nothing will ever get me to put pants on. I will, this is a pants-free run? No, so the problem is, the issue is, I am extremely underleveled for everything. And we either wear pants, or we wear a shirt. You take your pick. Which is better? That's not great. That's still fat rolling. I promise the shirt is the best option. It covers a majority of the bad. You just get a little peeky at his very flat cakes every so often. The loincloth doesn't even work fully, though. Because I can definitely see my flat little crotch every so often. Stop. Please! Please. Naked Waluigi is the fastest. Waluigi with the cape is pretty dang quick, though. And it also hides a lot of the wrinkly awfulness. But yeah, hi friends. This is what we do here. No, I need to get in here before I die. Oh god. No, not the Estus! Okay, it's fine. Big guy's actually, the berries and cream lad. He's doing the little lad dance. Don't you dare! Please. Please! My fucking weapon keeps getting stuck on the walls. Alright, this is okay. This is fine. We've played for an hour and a half, not even a full hour and a half, and we've already died 14 times. Not a big deal. Here's our crow friends. You know what? I might be willing to take my chances over here. Oh yes, the little lad dance. He's sad that you won't do the little lad dance with him. Why won't you do the little lad dance with him, Cyril? Okay, what other bad things are in here? There's another berry lad. And a big old crustacean. Lots of bad boys in here. Go grab your snack, Cyril. You're welcome to guess how many bad deaths we will do. No. No! I think 420 is being extremely generous, though. I think we got through Bloodborne in under 200 deaths, right? Not that I see this going as well as Bloodborne. Not with how things are currently going. Hi, bud. Look, I've gotten real good at running around these guys. They can't stop me. Fuck. Come here. No, you're too far away. I keep thinking I have reach, and I definitely do not. I want that item, but I'm scared. Oh, yeah, that's, I'm scared of that. You know what? We'll never get it if we, are afraid. It was a calculated risk. I got the items. That's all that matters. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've just been hitting guys with my hammer and setting them on fire. I don't... Is that a problem? That's what's been happening. It's how we handle things. I want to try and get rid of him. I want to. I think I can. I'm definitely overestimating myself. That's for certain. But I want to get rid of him so I can maybe stand a chance at getting all the items. Look, Fruity, just because you're a grass trainer doesn't mean the grass shield is the best. Just saying. My dude. Is it really good? Really hard. Thank you for the follow. We'll swap it over. It's not great. That's not great. I'm now very slow. I would like to try and get to the next bonfire. Oops. Clicked away from the game. I would like to try to get to the next bonfire at the very least. Can we? Please. Maybe make it. Do you think we can get there? Fucking hell! Good God. This is the run. Not entirely sure it is. Just be great if there were just a few less boys just hanging out in this corner. These dang hooligans. Please. These dang wild children. And the game crashed. Okay, hold on. Let me try and troubleshoot some shit real fast. Alright, alright, alright. This is fine. Also, Luna, hello! Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to see if I can change how the randomizer works, because I think some of the issue is just the fact that there are too many big creatures here. I think some of the issue is that we got too many big boys. So, yeah. Yeah, I just want you to know that the boss chance for a normal enemy to be spawned, or to be spawned as a boss, was set at 7%. I'm gonna turn it down to 4%. um... Can we... Ooh! More options! No, so it's just a 7% chance that instead of a regular enemy, it'll grab a boss. So it's like within itself, like within its own program. Do, 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 do. All right. So this might change what random enemies we have at the very beginning. Turn some settings down. Okay, let's try this. Excuse me. Hey, Steam? Hey, Steam. Also might turn the graphics down a little bit. See if that helps take some of the the weight of everything off of the game. That's fine. Oh no, goodbye, Four Kings. Okay, before I show what's gonna happen, I'm just gonna poke around in the settings real fast. And then we'll see what happens. Oof. Okay. Okay. Hey. Hey. There it is. Okay. Let's continue on. See if it did actually change anything. Oh! This is where you're gonna throw me. Okay. Okay. Game broke. But it's fine. Because one of the Four Kings is not here. We can make this work. It's fine. Devo. Babe, you gotta stop. You're not great, though. Buds. Hey, buds. No! Okay. Okay. He's from further in the Undead Burg. This is fine. I can make this work. I just need to get in there a bit more. I need to stop panicking. I'm still just waiting for the king to fly in. It's okay. Hey, look, I am just trying to pick up my souls. Alright. Absolute goobers. Come down here, so I don't have to worry about falling off the edge. Okay, alright, alright, alright. Wow, I didn't want all of you down here. You know what? Fuck it. It's fine. Okay, maybe it's not as fine as I thought it was gonna be. It's alright. Can I make this jump? Do you think I can make this jump? I can. It's all good and fine. Everything is good and fine. Also, one of them died. Perfect. They've all died. Perfect. It's almost like I planned that. I didn't think they were gonna be that dumb. Now the trick is to get back over there without dying. I don't think I could have gotten the king like that. What is this bad noise? Okay, it's oh. And oh. You gonna... Don't come over here. He fell and died, so this is fine. Let's level up just a smidge. So that maybe I can wear some more pants. Or just a pair of pants. Maybe these. These are real light. God, that... Very slow again. That's fine. I'll take it. Voice mod. Okay, hold on a second. You want party time? Is that your favorite? Seems to be your favorite, Allie. Oh. That sounded like a tap tap to me. That sounded like a tap tap to me. Didn't like that. GLaDOS Cage is pleasing. we can do that. Is that working? Hold on.
I gotta change the dang thing.
Does that work? I didn't want to move the game. Game! That's not where you were supposed to be. There it is. Good. Perfect. I love it. Hold on. You're gonna get like a free minute of this ridiculous voice while I move things around, because there are way too many things on my screen right now. Alright. 5-minute timer has started! What do you mean, oh no, Waluigi? What do you mean, oh no, Waluigi? I don't see a problem. There are no problems here. Did I update the death counter after the last one? I think I did. Okay. Well. Okay, but what if we just do this old trick again? Come on. Come on. Butcher did not respawn. Which is fine. Good and fine. buddy. Titanite chunk. I think if it spawns in a boss... Oh god, what are you? Why is your nutsack on the outside? I think if it's an enemy that normally wouldn't respawn, it won't respawn. So, like, if I get a boss out here, then... and I kill it. Oh, you're what's making that bad clicky noise. Look. Yeah, we don't like Nutsack Boy. No! 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 Please, let me in! I don't think he can get in here, his head's too big! Look, I love seafood as much as the next queer lady, but like this is taking it to a bit of an extreme. It's terrible because I have a hard time recognizing some of these enemies just because I'm not seeing them in their proper environment. Like that, like Egg Sack Boy down there. Didn't realize that was one of the guys, like, outside of, like, near where Quelaag is. Yet here we are! And these clamp guys show up at, like, the very end of the game, right? Or not at the end of the game. They're near where Seath is? It's just weird, again, seeing them not in their normal environment. No, you're gonna explode and it's gonna be bad, and I'm not gonna be happy about it. Okay. Ooh, white Titanite chunk. Hi. Stop. Right, already. Demon's Great Axe. Already. Much more manageable. This isn't an issue. Also, is the game sound okay or is that too loud? I need to ask now because I will be rolling into barrels and boxes non-stop this entire playthrough. Game sound is fine. Good, good, good. Alright. Also, who's making that terrible... Yeah, loot is randomized as well. Everything's randomized, basically, at this point, which is great. Oh, I need to, like, not click through very quickly because I need to pay attention to what's happening. As I have said before, though, it won't spawn necessary items anywhere that's too hard to get. Oh, it's one of you. Okay. Excuse you? No, I don't think so. You're supposed to be in the forest! You're not supposed to be here? None of you are supposed to be here, which is the point. Oh, 5 minutes is up. You're gonna get another minute or so of this terrible badness. I've gone the wrong way! Fucking hell. Okay. 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 Alright. Okay. Alright. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Listen. Okay? Alright. No one should be here. No one. None of them. All of them? Wrong. Incorrect. They've done it very bad. No more GLaDOS. All done. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Oh, you are back. Why did you not? Look, I can't get up when you do that. Please. That's 2 more deaths for me. So we're at 23. Was it on when I said nutsack? I stopped paying attention. Waluigi is getting the Walu beat. Cyril. What have we talked about in regards to thinking before we hit send? Is it a mistake though? This is how we got man juice. Please. I know the clip above has the nutsack line. I just couldn't remember if I had the voice mod on. I don't know what's happening anymore. You can't expect me to pay attention to anything at any given time. Oh, it's just so jiggly. It's just so wiggly. Okay, good. I'm glad that I was able to give you GLaDOS nutsacks. As soon as I am able to put pants on, I will. I just can't yet. There's no pants allowed. Waluigi says no. Not you. Dude, please. No. No. Please. Oh no, I keep clicking out of the game. No. Oh. The little clam's feet, they're very good. I just want to get to the bonfire. That's all. Oh, look. Look, y'all. Please. Okay, okay. It's a mess. Everything is bad. We got some normal enemies here, which is kind of exciting. That's new. But, yeah, it's not going great. It's not, though. Sarah, it's not, though. I can play normal Dark Souls. Oh, he's doing a chomp on that little lad.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
No! It's rude time is what it is. They got greedy. Lol. Not lol. Lol. I would like to know what's hiding over here. What bad things do we have over here in the graveyard now? Now that we've randomized the randomizer again. What bad boys do we have over here? Not the... No! They're all bad! There's another bell gargoyle over here! It's all bad. Crow friend, make it better. It's so the randomizer has them spawn in T poses just because some of their normal animations would either make the entire area around them freak out because it wasn't designed for it, or have them accidentally eat themselves off of cliffs and edges and stuff like that. So that's why the T-pose is there. It is intentional. It is meant to be there. And it's very good. We love us a good T-pose. Hi, bird friend. Oh! I'm just... Graveyard's just full of bad things. They're all bad. I want my souls. And I want the next bonfire. Right? Come on. Y'all. I like this little ledge over here. Gonna move so I don't get hit. I need big guy to there we go. There we go. There we go. So I think they've tweaked the AI a little bit so that they aren't as intelligent as they should be. Well, I say should be. Some of these guys don't know what cliffs are! Please. Please. Did you die? You did not die. Fucking hell. Please. Okay, okay, alright. Yeah, you just gotta eat them. Thank you for the clips. No, but if I can get all of them to, like, get yeeted off the cliff, that's 2,500 souls for me. The trick is getting all of the souls every time I die and making it to the next bonfire. You could just stay there for a second. No, don't try to attack me. I am trying to get past you, bud. Alright, you're making it very difficult. Oh! Is that a weapon I can actually use? There's lots of things dying around me right now. No, exactly. Exactly. Hit him in his ankles. Can I? I can! Oh, I don't like that, though. Locking onto him and trying to hit him? Not very good. Okay, let's actually go up here for a second. Alright, alright. It's not very strong, but it is kind of quick. And we like that. Might be able to wear trousers with this sword. Why y'all want me to wear some pants? Why y'all want me to wear some dang pants? I can't, well, I can wear the hollow pants. Please wear pants. I got this, which isn't really pants. Good God. Fuck. I need to ignore the clam. Forget the clam. Clam does not exist. Alright. Clam is not real. Clam doesn't exist. It's fine. Oh no! Stop! Why are you like this? Why are we like this?
A body has been discovered.
It's me. My body has been discovered. This is extremely unfortunate. Stop! like this. No! Goodbye, boys. Go on. Lol, 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 lol. No. Okay. You? You're not real. Outrun the electricity! And it's fine. And we're fine! It's fine. Oh, I didn't like that sound. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's extremely unfortunate. Okay. Alright. Alright. Now the real trick is just running past all the bad things and getting into that bonfire. Right? Right. Not the maggots! Reset them! Reset them! Good. Perfect. Oh fuck, I don't remember what everything does. This is fine. Okay. Yeah, bonfire respawns and resets where the enemies are. So they will go back to their original locations. Well, original. Whatever location that they start at. So, like, Bone Tower will stay there. The little snaky boys that were behind the crates, back behind the crates. It's all good. Can we? Oh, well, they have... He said he was done. Not you. Not you! Why is there so many bad things here? Doesn't matter that I'm poisoned. Doesn't matter that I'm poisoned. I'm dead, game. I'm already dead. It's fine. Okay, I like the fact that this rapier is quick. However, I do like the fact that this does a shit ton of damage. So I'm sorry, y'all. But, the pants might have to go. How much did those weigh? Fucking hell! My dude! You can't know I'm here! I'm safe! This is a safe zone! Fuck out of here! Can't get me if I'm between your heads! This is fine. Fucking hell. Stop! 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 Why are you so quick? You won't even let me hit him! I did get bit by a worm, and it was unpleasant and not fun, and we didn't enjoy it. Please. 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 Why can that fucking worm jump so goddamn much? Also, Queer Company, hello and welcome. How are you guys doing? Just... Not the worm! Fruity, not the worm. Why do you love the worm more than me? You're a monster. Can we... This little worm really is showing up, be like, I'm gonna ruin your day. And I wish he wouldn't. Genuinely the scariest enemy we've come across. Fuck you. Handled. Handled. Wasn't even concerned. I was very concerned. I was extremely concerned, actually. Okay, but what if I run in here again? What if we just, like, let everything run off the edges? Oh, fuck. They're not gonna. Stop with the poison! Okay. Well, now we know that I can 100% kill that worm. Except the firebomb guys, I think, are actually managing to, like, hit the bridge proper. Okay, get rid of— No! Don't jump from me, please. All of you stop! You're all monsters! All actually terrible creatures. Not the worst! Everything here says no. Not allowed to progress. The worm was bringing up the rear. Hold on. Before we continue on. Hi, Bean! Would you like to say hello to everyone? Look who it is. It's a tiny llama. Hi! Did you just wake up? Yeah? No! Okay, no, he fell. Everything is fine. No, no bites. I'm not gonna hold you if you're gonna bite me. Can you say hello to everyone? This is my kitten, Lamia. She's very good. She's very small. Hi! Oh, okay. She says we're gonna flop now. Hi! She says we flop now? You stop everything and you pet me. Hi. Yeah? I have to set you down because I am streaming right now, kitten. Do you want some treats? Would you like some treats? Would you like to melt out of my arms and receive some treats? Here you go. She hears the sound. She wants them. Alright, are you ready? They're all over. You gotta go find them. Go get them! They're everywhere! Go find them! They're all over the rug. Look. Look, I know you're blind and I know you're kind of deaf, but they're everywhere. Look. Also, here's the big birthday boy. This kid is 4 years old today. Can you say hello? My big boy. Hi. I know you heard the treats and that's what you want, but those are Lamias. You've had treats today. It is the large lad. Look at this kid. Look at this very big boy. Look at this very big boy. He's the biggest boy. Alright, out you go. Nope, go on. Be gone, large lad. Baby indeed. I will not put the treats directly in Lamia's mouth. She needs something to keep her distracted. There's still plenty out there. We've turned it into a game where she wanders around to find all the treats that I've thrown out for her. Absolutely. Farley, that's not your food. Also, not the worm. Don't jump, worm! Worm, no! But yeah, Farley is 4 years old today. He's an old man now. That bone tower is slowly but surely, like, making its way over here, and I'm not happy about that. Not the egg boy. Happy birthday to the baby! Okay, okay! Tap, tap, tap. Not the taps. Okay, nope, nope. Hey, Bone Tower, do you want to, like, not? Also, can I get close to you? This game is yucky. It really do be that way. It's not usually this bad this fast. Usually it's just a bunch of, like, zombies walking around at first, and you're like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. A rat or two here or there. Couple of dark nights. But, no, it's just kind of, oh no! Just kind of throwing us in all at once. Pillage the body. Getting all these, like, white Titanite chunks, and that's great and all. But, I feel like that's gonna be a problem in the long run. I kind of want to go down there, but I kind of want to go over there. You can't reach me. Can I pull? They can reach. And that's a problem. No. No, I have made a terrible mistake. Save me!
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for...
Right, go get him, merchant! Get him! Dragon scales, Titanite shards, green Titanite shard. He doesn't usually have these things, does he? Sorry, I thought I like heard them getting here. He's selling the souls for 200. All of it is randomized. Perfect. Beautiful. Love it. Perfect.
What a waste of going...
Okay, but I could kill him too. Equal trade. At least he's not upselling them. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing! No! 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 cursed. The problem is I can also get cursed. I'm not ready for that. I don't want to be down here. Ooh. Oof. Oh, you're talking... Okay, I thought you were talking about this, the lizard boy, and I was like... I'm not just gonna run in there. We're not just gonna run in there. Yikes. Okay. I mean, more cursed. I mean, get the status effect of cursed, and then have no health forever. Practically. Our existence being a curse and having an actual curse. Two very different things. Come on, worm. Okay. Worm, no longer a problem. Not even concerned about the worm. Lizards, not so great, but manageable. Okay. I think lizard saw me. That guy is slowly but surely crawling his way up here. Don't jump away from me. Okay. Alright. You know what? This is fine. This is fine. Can we? Ouch! Come here, bud. Look. 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 No! He almost walked off that edge. Okay. This is viable strategy. This works. I think some of the issue that I'm having also is that while I recognize a lot of these bad enemies, by the time I come across them, I am significantly stronger than I currently am. Therefore, I don't know all of their movesets. I have nothing to fix this. I have nothing to fix this. This is a problem. Get it, llama. Can I convince them to run off the edge? I can. Good. No! That's fine. No, there's a couple of other double lizards. I think there's only like 2 that like tend to run around on the ground, but I know there's like a shit ton on the trees in the woods. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. I would like to not be poisoned today. Worm do go yeet. Come here. Ouch. Stop! Look, I'm trying to get the plant boy to come to me, okay? Okay. Okay. Alright. No, exactly. It's like I'm not... It's like I recognize, like, a lot of these guys. But I'm not... I'm a baby. These are big boy enemies. Oh, I didn't like that sound. I do like that I can farm them for white titanite chunks. That's very nice. Okay. Bad monkey now. God, you hit hard. But this is fine. Look at that. Not even concerned. Not even worried. Wasn't even upset. I do need this, and I do. There's more plant men in there. Not a clam man. Two regular boys, and then a blob. I missed. Okay. Oh, don't lock onto things that are below me, please. Got a large soul, that's great. Got a titanite shard, awesome. I would like to go home now. Mushroom boy! Why am I getting all the forest enemies? I love Mushroom boy. Look at how cute they are. I wish Fishman would walk away. But he won't. Can he not go up the— oh, fuck. Nope. Nope. I don't know who's up here, but... No! Okay. That could have been very bad. Big ol' yikes. Sir. Sir. Oh! Mushroom man! I thought we were friends. I don't want to hurt you, but you're kind of giving me no choice, buddy. Okay. I'm sorry. I love you, my little roly-poly mushroom man. Yeah, too many curse lizards? Too many curse lizards, honestly. I need the curse lizard to not be in me anymore. Go. Oh, wait, okay. I missed. Too many curse lizards. Too many clam men. A single worm, but that's too many. Okay. Hi. Yeah, no, I got it. We're doing it bad. No! No! Stop with your nonsense. It's locked. It's locked. Mommy's causing problems over there, but it's fine. No! These are all bad! I don't want to be in here, actually. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? Okay, so we got a leech. we got a bad boy. But that's okay. Because you just stomp on him. So you solve this problem by doing a stomp. Lurks are totally acceptable and fine. I hope people are enjoying this. I'm having fun with it. It's just fucking wild. Yeah, this boy, not even a problem. I'm appreciating it because it's like, it's basically feels like I'm playing Dark Souls for the first time again because I have no idea what's gonna happen. I don't know what we're gonna come across. I don't know what items we're gonna get. I don't know shit anymore. And that's kind of exciting. You're a chump. I can take you. I am committed. We're gonna get through it. Look. I love me some Dark Souls. Solasmo. Okay. That's cool. Black tights? I bet those are kinda light. I am beautiful. Look, I have pants on now. Are you happy? Well, that didn't really change anything, so I will put those back on. Baldur Knight, where did you get Smo's soul? Oh, you know, I just found it hanging around. It's fine. What's over here? It's just the ledge, right? Just a bad ledge, not the ledge I was thinking of. It's fine. I would like to get to the next bonfire, please. I feel like I've made so much progress. I'm scared of what we're gonna come across. I don't recognize that. What is that? What is that? Oh, they hurt. I don't recognize them. We're gonna go. We're just gonna go. I love them. I love barrels. I mean, they definitely look like humanities. Yeah. Is he still following me? He's still following me, isn't he? Hi, buddy. I would like it if I didn't roll into you. He's just got that little droning music that follows him. I don't like it. What is that? Not the crabs. Not the wheel! I also don't recognize what the crab is, but that's okay. That's okay. I can kill him. I'm kind of half tempted to just run. I missed. Fucking worm. You were too low. Okay. Worm, handled. Bad lizard, handled. No! Not worms! I don't want you or your worms. Ugh. Gotta practice patience. That's the trick with the randomizer. Fuck off, my dude. No more worms. None. Zero? Zilch. None worms. Thank you very much. Damn, we're almost we're almost out of time. No maggots. Oh fuck. Not maggots. Okay. No, Bone Tower, we were doing just fine. Kind of existing on our own. Then you decided that you were gonna throw hands. And I need you to not. Okay. None worms left, beef. None worms left. Left gecko. I didn't like that sound. This is Gex now. Do you feel old yet? Okay. Let's get little farmer boy. Come here, farmer boy. Stop. Stop with your stupid fire. Too many genetically modified crops. It was too green and pleasant, and it made him nervous. I'm gonna die. Fucking hell. Okay. Let's go. Now watch. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get all the way through. We're gonna get through this randomizer. Like, I'm dedicated to this. Oh, I could. Do I have any other souls on me? Ooh, I do have purple moss. Okay. I have a guardian soul as well. When did that happen? Here, let's use one of these. Someone died. That's cool. Can we... let's kindle. Cannot kindle while hollow. Oh, right. I can never remember the order in which I'm supposed to do that. Reverse hollowing and then kindle. No. No. He fell off. That's okay. Because we will be coming back to this one quite regularly. So we might as well kindle it now, right? Okay. I am determined to at least get to the boss area one more time. Somebody else just died. Dex, strength. So that's the other thing, like, I don't know what build to go for just because I don't know what items we're gonna get, so I'm just kind of like level a lot of things up for the time being. No, no, bad worm. That helped a lot though. Oh my god, okay. They still hit very hard. I wonder if I have enough to, like, put more armor on now. Can I put more armor on? What is my... That's not what I wanted. Equip load is 55. What are... It's been so long since I've had to look at, like, any of these things that I don't remember what any of these mean. Yeah, no, endurance very good. It is equip load and stamina. Can confirm. There we go. 14 strength? I got that now. I am kind of fat rolling. Stamina up to 40. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Bad worm. Don't like that I'm still fat rolling. Can I sneak in here and have him fall off the edge? Just fall off the edge for me, buddy. No, you're not gonna. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. No! No jumps. Only murder. So that's the other thing that I have an issue with, is remembering... Who's making that very bad noise? No, buddy. Okay. Okay! Whew. We're doing alright. We're doing alright. We got 6 minutes until the end of the stream, but I want to at least try and get to the boss again. It was you. You were making the very bad noises. Ouchies! You did that big ol' hurt on me. I didn't like it. Oh fuck, you need one more hit, please. I also can only take one more hit. There we go! Everything is better now. Okay, okay, okay. Do I want to be ballsy and try and take on This boy? No. Oh, no, I guess I do. Don't got much of an option at this point. Buddy. Look, I'm a little slow. Alright, my rolls, not very good. Fucking worms! Fucking worms! That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. Oh, that close up! Oh! I don't like seeing Waluigi that close. Okay. Gotta check. Ornstein's armor! Core of an iron golem. I have Ornstein's leggings, don't I? I do. Alright, so we're just like... We're halfway there to Ornstein's stuff. I think it does. I think it does randomize which chests are mimics. My assumption is yes. I would rather be safe than sorry about that. I would much rather, like, expect there to be a mimic everywhere. That's just how I live my life. In general. I'll post the links for the randomizers that I have. The install for them, extremely easy. So yeah, if other people want to check out the randomizer as well, you can. You shouldn't be up here, my guy. Right? This is definitely, like, it's a very good way to freshen the Dark Souls experience. Is he gonna come back up here or what? Okay, let's do this. I missed. I completely fucked that up. That's okay, though. We know that there's a bad lizard up here. Ow! Mushroom buddy! It's me. I am Mushroom Buddy. But yeah, if people have the PC versions of Dark Souls, I'll post the links for the randomizers somewhere in the Discord, and y'all can check it out and let me know how your playthroughs go. I'm gonna need constant updates about how wild this whole experience is. Let me know if you also get clams constantly at the very beginning of your game. Let me know if one of the 4 kings shows up at the Firelink Shrine. Please, guy. I just want to get to the boss. Alright. That's all. Okay, alright, alright. Leech, stop! What are you doing? You can't do stairs, Leech! He's a very strong mushroom boy. Also, I love that this guy just doesn't do anything. He just stands here. Oh, buddy. Okay. Yeah. He gives me 5 souls. That's it. Just the 5. Alright, where's our little hollow buddy that was up here? It's never enough. Okay. Let's do this. Grab Bud. Grab Bud. And the frickin' bone wheel. Okay. He's not a problem now. He will be. But that's okay. Crab Buddy is dead. And drops twin humanities. Yeah, he's just doing whatever he does down there. He's a little... Okay. Is that... What is that? Thought it was the Capra demon for a second. What are you? You're definitely not the Taurus demon. That's for certain. I mean, I love bone wheel skeletons. Like, on it, like in concept. What are you? Oh, oh! He's a forest guy, isn't he? Oh! Well, I fucked up. In my defense, I thought I was pushing in a different direction than I was. I found it to be a very sad gasp. Did it bad. Ah! Look. What if we just... I know it's the end of stream. But I'm like... Feeling good about this potential run. And like, look, what if we just say no to all the buddies? Good as they are. What if I at least just like, I'm feeling real good about this boss. Feeling real good about this boss. He's gonna fall right on my fucking head. My concern, hear me out. My concern is did they both fall down? They both fell down. Fucking hell. My concern is that we're not gonna play this until next Saturday, right? And I've only just gotten into the groove of things. Please. Please. It's true. I'm gonna forget, and it's not gonna be great. Cool. more twin humanities. I'm fine with that. And like, I did it bad. I did it bad because I accidentally rolled off the edge of the arena. And that was all on me. I think it does. I think it does always drop twin humanities. It does appear to always drop twin humanities, at least. Yikes! He hits hard! That was like all of my health. That was like all of my health. But I got him pretty far down too. We will try one more time. And then we'll call it. Because I'm also starting to get tired, which is not pairing well with having to be extra on guard about everything. But I might, on like Friday or so, play a little bit off stream, but just like, just this area. Just farm a little bit so I can get used to doing everything again. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this, as like insanely stupid as the asylum was. Ow! Bad bone wheel. It was more hilarious and funny than it was genuinely frustrating. Hey, bud. We'll just take some pot shots. See, one of the things that I really like about Dark Souls is like trying to figure out how best to approach a situation. And given that everything is pretty much the same every time you do a playthrough, don't do it. Don't you fucking do it. Having it randomized and be somewhat difficult because of the enemies not being where they're supposed to be is genuinely fun for me. So I'm very excited to see what other nonsense we're gonna come across. I'm glad that I reset the randomizer when I did, because having one of the four kings at the beginning, not very good. Maybe we just drop on him a couple of times. Maybe this is the strat. See, there's no way he can get up here. Also, yeah, his tree horn hurts. He hits you multiple times. Okay, yeah. We'll probably call it there. And we'll, continue this on another day. Tree horn hurts. You don't like it? Oh, before I forget. Let me update that counter. Jesus Christ! 42 deaths! 42 deaths! In a single sit down. Big ol' yikes. Hold on, let me actually quit the game. There we go. 10% of the way there. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is a ton of fun though, and I'm very excited for, when we continue. It's gonna be great. No, like I said, I'm genuinely excited. I'm imagining that it's gonna be harder now than it will be later on. We'll probably get some of the easier enemies later, which is gonna be hilarious. And good and fine. I'm just not looking forward to if, like, I don't know, if, like, Gwyn shows up in Blight Town or some shit. That's not gonna be great. We get Seath the Scaleless hanging out in Blight Town. I'm not looking forward to Blight Town. Blight Town's gonna be so scary. Not 100% worms. They're so fast is the issue. No, I am looking forward to this. It's gonna be great. But it's time to move on, friends. There are our raid messages. First one is for non-subs. It's got emotes that everyone can use. The second one is for subs. It's got emotes that they can use. Let's go hang out with a friend. We got some folks on. Got Nimbly doing some crafting. Calvi Berries doing some Luigi's Mansion 3. Dougie Booze is doing some just chatting. And Collie Flumps is doing some Valheim. I'm of the mind to go say hi to Dougie, if y'all are cool with that. Otherwise, if anyone's got suggestions, recommendations, I'm here for it. Dougie, we all cool with Dougie? Let's go say hi to Dougie. Let's go say hi to Dougie. It actually looks like Dougie is playing some Ooblets. That's what that looks like. I don't know if that's actually what it is or not. But we're gonna go say hi to Dougie. And it's gonna be great and fantastic and lovely and wonderful. And yeah, as always, take care of your dang selves. I love ya. It's gonna be great. Get back to our regularly scheduled content this next week. With more Ender Lilies in the evenings and Bloodstained in the afternoons, as well as some indie stuff on Friday. And yeah, take care of your dang selves. I love ya. We'll see you later.